guys. Welcome back to the Legally Judgy podcast. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Alexa.
All right, Alexa.
Are you ready?
This is your moment.
Are you ready? It's
I'm
my Chappelle
ready.
moment.
This is your Chappelle.
My two favorite things in the whole universe.
Yeah.
Video games and money.
Dork.
You wish you were me.
Well, how do these things cross
So
over today?
what are we talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking about a fight over GameStop. You
Okay.
got rich Wall Street hedge funds up against online traders from Reddit in a war over whether GameStop is going to succeed or fail.
Whoa.
And who's caught up in the crossfires? Robinhood.
Okay.
Online e-trader who had to end up freezing their transactions over this whole fight between Wall Street and Reddit. And now Robinhood's under fire. People accusing them of disserving the same people that they swore they were going to protect.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
All right.
Are you ready?
Modern day romance.
Oh, so there's fights, there's tears, there's laughter.
Is there making up?
TBD.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll find out.
I know. I need to keep you here.
Okay.
But before we dive into that,
Yeah.
how you been?
I'm good. I feel like this week was a strong one. For me at least. So
Literally.
Yes. I get really into the shows that I watch. Like I love my stories. I get very into them. And so they often seep into my dreams.
Okay.
And so
That's
right
frightening.
now I've been doing like a really strong rotation of prison stories and industry on HBO.
Okay.
And so I was really into prison at the start of the week, but then apparently was getting a little aggressive and doing a little cussing and swinging in my sleep.
Oh. How did husband feel about this?
He didn't love that. I think it was a little alarming for him.
Yeah.
So I switched to industry.
Okay.
And then the good news is I started dreaming about losing people's money and like
Oh,
really
good news.
intensely kind of.
That's good.
Yeah. It was,
Okay.
It was really, I actually lost sleep. I was stressed out in my sleep
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I was a stock investor and fucking people over and that like
Your
my
Wall
whole
Street?
life was coming down.
You became the Wolf of Wall Street?
Little did I know that we were going to be talking about GameStop today at that point. Maybe I then
get
would
some
have watched something different.
subliminal stuff going into your head right now? You're feeling a little stressed, taking on this stress yourself?
It's intense. It's intense.
Well, I actually am kind of there with you. I also had a very intense week. Not for any really legitimate reason, except for me trying to be more productive and waking up earlier.
welcome.
It's absolutely terrible.
It's horrible.
It should be illegal to have to wake up when it's still dark.
But you just get so much done. Like nobody's awake, and your work emails aren't bothering you. So I think you can like wake up and really ease into the day.
The most frustrating part is that you're right.
Thank you.
I usually am a night owl, so I come alive
Mm-hmm.
at like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sweet spot.
I can testify to that. That's when I get the most text messages from you.
Yeah.
And I wake up, I'm like, it is too fucking early for these novel ass text messages.
No, it's a brilliant time, but unfortunately nobody else agrees with me, so I have to get on your time.
Yeah.
And so now I'm waking up at 6 a.m. And then actually the worst part of my week was that my wife had this crazy idea that she was going to work out before work, and she set her alarm for 5:30 a.m. You know how I feel about the fives.
I'm sorry.
Nobody should ever, I'm so mad. Nobody should ever have to wake up in the fives.
You know what?
No, you haven't even heard the worst part. Don't defend her. Don't defend her until you
But
hear
for
my...
better or worse. Okay.
Just hear me out.
Okay.
She, 5:30, goes off. I'm like, what the? I look over. She goes, I was gonna work out. And so I'm like staring at her like, well then go work out. Her ass turns over, goes back to sleep. 5 minutes later, 5:35 a.m., her snooze alarm comes back on. Beep, beep. And I'm a light sleeper. She's knocked out. I'm like, wifey, why don't you pump that iron? Why are you on the treadmill? What's going on? I thought we were going to work out this morning. Nope.
It's
So
definitely one
I
of those
woke up.
times to roll over and be like, I thought your New Year's resolution was to lose 5 pounds.
Yeah. Next time I'm just going to push
You
her
have
out
to
of the
deal with
bed.
guilt. Yeah.
Oh, honey, I was trying to help you. I didn't mean to push you out. I'm trying to help your fitness goals.
Well, listen, I think she's a saint, first of all. Second
I
of
hate
all.
that you say that.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm just here to tell the
I'm
truth.
a saint.
We'll just move past that. So anyways, I would bet that by waking up early, you were able to prepare for your favorite subjects of finance and video games.
Okay, that's not untrue, but don't tell her.
Okay, fine. So what happened then?
All right, my beloved GameStop.
Yeah.
The place where I got my PlayStation 5,
Special.
right? The place where I got all my video games from as a kid. They've not been doing well. I got to be honest. They're a brick and mortar store, right? And then now everything is online. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a new thing called the World Wide Web, and you can get a lot of things
Al
off
Gore
of
tried to
it.
tell me about that one time.
Al Gore told you,
Didn't he invent the internet?
hit you up in the DMs. Hey, Nick,
Hey girl, get on it.
it's Big Al. Got some news for you. Yeah, so everything is online, not just buying things online that get delivered, but you can literally download your games through your console now.
Right.
So it's fantastic. I don't have to leave my couch. I'm on my PlayStation. I feel like buying the new Spider-Man. I download it.
Yeah.
To the detriment of my beloved GameStop.
Well, I saw that, I mean, obviously a lot of people are not doing well in the pandemic, right? But I saw that they literally shut down hundreds of stores in the pandy. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Blockbuster. I mean, Blockbuster had its like peak moments where you used to go and like pick out your Friday night, Saturday night groove with your parents.
Do you remember that? And you would beg your parents for like the popcorn and the red vines
and the candies
in the
and everything. Yeah.
It was like a whole mood.
Yeah, I was really sad when it shut down. I can't say I feel the same about GameStop, but
okay.
Let me tell you what I'm sad about.
We're at war now, okay?
I'm sad because in high school, I remember people going to GameStop to like hunt out their next boyfriend and girlfriend.
Hunt out?
I called it a hunt.
That's aggressive.
It was a hunt.
You're hunting at GameStop, huh?
I mean, they would like go into the store and wait in the aisles and see who was there picking up games and stuff. And I think that was supposed to be like, that was the first version of Tinder, I suppose.
It was GameStop, huh?
Yeah. I didn't do that. I mean,
I think
I was a cheerleader, so I didn't really have to do any of that.
Wow.
But
we're going to play that card. How many times are you going to mention that you were a damn cheerleader on this podcast? We get it, Nicole. You were cool in high school.
Hate on me.
Whatever. I was there buying gaming cheats. That's what GameStop was to me.
What a dork.
So I could beat Super Mario. That's all I did.
That's cool.
And okay, that's not the point. Get on with it.
Okay, so GameStop, not doing well, obviously. This online revolution has taken over, so people buy their games online, like Alexa said. So because they're doing so shitty, really, and they can't compete with online retail, this huge group of investors on Wall Street, they're also called short sellers, just in the way that they invest, started to bet against GameStop stock so that they could make more money. And so as, I'm sure most people know, the stock market is really just... It's a system and a process where you buy and you sell stock, and what that stock is really just a piece of ownership in the company that you're buying or selling the stock for.
Right, and most people buy stock thinking they're going to make money off of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Believe in a company, think it's going to go well, great. Buy stock, price goes up, fantastic. But the short sellers, it's literally the opposite, right? They're betting that the stock is going to go down, and if it goes down, they make money. But if the price goes up, they lose money. And as much money as you can make when you're just a traditional investor is as much money as you can lose being a short seller.
Right.
So get out quick.
Okay, so let's lay this out in like a very visual way. So we've got GameStop, right? Mm-hmm. That's who this is all. It's all about their stock. Mm-hmm. We've got the Wall Street Bros, and so I like a good visual. So I would like to propose that our listeners visualize, especially if you're from New York, this is going to be like a slam dunk, super easy. The Wall Street Bros. So Wall Street Bros in New York, since I know that you've been an LA girl your whole life.
Yeah, tell me what's
they love to wear a good like white button down with a fleece vest over it that says the name of like their hedge fund that they work at.
You're lying.
I swear to God.
There's no way
I'm
somebody
going to
would wear
Google
that.
these pictures and send them to you after.
I can't believe you haven't already.
I swear, they wear a button down, their fleece vest with their name and their hedge fund name. They wear khaki or like black pants, whatever, like nothing crazy. Okay. And they've got either like Gucci or Ferragamo loafers on. And of course, they all have like, slick back kind of hair. They all have a good like whiskey bourbon situation. They're mostly white.
That I agree with.
It's people. Not a very diverse
you don't say.
industry. And so I just want you guys to visualize that that's who we have at one end of this entire debacle that we'll continue to dive into.
So we got the Wall Street Bros, and on the other side we got what? Really cool Redditors, gamers. I'm picturing a $5 tee from Target and a loose jacket, maybe?
So Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, the leader.
I mean, he doesn't he only spend like, well, he says, this is all bullshit, but he says he spends like $100 on an outfit, but some unrelated but kind of related fashion blog like tore him apart, and they were like, bro, your t-shirt's like $2,000.
I saw that. Yeah,
like,
I saw that.
What are you saying?
I hate when they try to relate. Like, stop it. But okay, so on the other side we got the Mark Zuckerbergs.
Yep.
That look.
Okay, I'll take it.
So a bunch of online traders, right? They get onto Reddit and they start this forum. And there's millions of members. Last I checked, there's 8.5 million. I mean, this thing is insane, right? They catch on to Wall Street betting against GameStop. I want to believe it's because they, like me, just love GameStop and want to believe that it's going to do well. Maybe not true, given what we just talked about. I think probably most of it is they're just like, we're going to fuck your shit up.
I appreciate that. I imagine them sitting behind their computers, like, texting, and remember like old school AIM lingo where like every word is then like 3 words, and there's like there's 3 letters in it, and there's like a Z.
Yeah.
And
I still text that way, actually.
An @ sign is an
yeah.
A.
Yeah. You are. You know that I text that way too. Two.
Yeah, she's a child.
Text my wife like ILUVU.
I'm sorry to your wife. Fuck, that's it's really sad.
That's another story. That's another episode.
So anyways, we've got the Reddit users, like Alexa said. I mean, it's not really confirmed why they did this, but I think the two thoughts or the two narratives are that they either believed Wall Street was wrong about GameStop and then it had more potential, and so like why would they be selling their shares if it's got all this potential and there's all this value there? Or the second thought, which to Alexa's point was just fuck the Wall Street bros.
Exactly. And so how did they do this? They just started buying the shit out of GameStop stock. And in buying it, it created this illusion that it was worth more than it was, right? Because usually if price of the stock goes up, it means the company's had some added value. But not here. It's just a bunch of people buying the stock and basically fucking up Wall Street's plan. Because remember, Wall Street's plan was the stock's going to go down.
Right.
Literally the opposite. And this created what's called a short squeeze. Just wanted to give you a little nugget of information there to impress you.
That sounds like a side bitch.
Did it
short
work?
Squeeze.
Short squeeze?
That sounds like the name you would use for like your mistress.
Short squeeze?
My short squeeze.
All right, I'm changing my wife's contact info on my phone.
So disrespectful.
So the short squeeze happens. It forces the Wall Street bros to actually buy GameStop stock, which is so weird. You wouldn't think that. But actually by buying it, it stopped their losses, right? You could just imagine they're like bleeding out, and this is basically putting that Band-Aid on. And so in doing that, the price went up even higher.
Right.
So it's just chaos.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw it went up by like almost 1,800%, which is wild. I mean, I don't think I can't imagine, or at least I'm not aware of another incident in the history of trading where that's happened.
In 2 days, 3 days,
right.
5 days.
I think it was like 24 hours. It was all over the fucking place.
Yeah, I don't think as much as I love GameStop, it actually was worth 1,800% more than it was 2 days ago. Call me crazy.
It's like people would have known before.
Yeah.
The whole Reddit rouge happened. I don't even know the right word.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm with you. Yeah. Rude Reddit.
All I know is that at some point during this pandemonium, Elon Musk decides to hop on Twitter. And, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla. So he's obviously smart. He's definitely
I've heard of him. Tesla?
He's a little odd. He operates in some funny ways.
What's his kid's name again?
It's like AEX1 or
At
something.
symbol?
I mean, at one point, California was like, we can't even type that into your birth certificate.
It's like He's like, breakfast is ready. Like, how do you call your kid? I don't even know what that means.
Kid. Hey, kid, come down for breakfast.
You. At symbol.
Little human, come over. So anyways, whatever. California couldn't even put that on a birth certificate. That's a random tidbit. But so he gets on Twitter and he's talking about it. And so, he's got like 43 million followers. So anything that he says is just gold, and people are always watching him to hear his thoughts on like investing and finance in the markets. And so he says something about GameStop and people like lose it, and even more people rush to go buy these stock. And I mean, I would bet that some people didn't even know like the underlying storyline of the Reddit users trying to fuck over Wall Street.
Right.
But in any event, there was this huge attention being turned to going to buy these stocks.
So much excitement. And in the end, it worked, right? These hedge funds lost billions. And one in particular, I saw one hedge fund alone lost $3 billion.
That's crazy.
Just from the Redditors. That
makes me so nauseous.
It worked.
Can you imagine? Okay, let's take our visuals back to the Wall Street bros.
You were a teacher, weren't you?
I was a teacher.
I'm seeing it now.
Okay, so let's take the visuals back. So we have the Wall Street investors in their fleece vests and their Gucci loafers and their slicked back hair sitting at their desks, right? Can you imagine watching those numbers come in and you're literally like going to shit yourself at your desk?
No, you just sweat through your shirt. And you would shit yourself. Yeah, there's no way. How are you going to call your client up?
It's definitely one of those moments where you're like, okay, your phone's ringing. It's probably like your top client being like, where the fuck is my money going?
Right.
And then you see an email come across your desk or like in your Outlook from your boss, and it's like, can you stop by in the subject line? And that's it.
Right.
Have you ever gotten one of those emails?
No, I'm perfect.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've gotten them over like projects that I'm supposed to like pick up and work on.
Oh, they stop by my place. They're like, hey, do you have time? Could you do this assignment?
They're just so flattered to be in your presence that they're like, you know what? Let me go out of my way to go talk to my inferior.
Yeah, but hey, I want to relate to you. So it's happened to you a lot, huh?
I just feel like, okay, you're so full of shit. I have literally seen those emails come to your desk, but it's fine.
Whatever.
But back to these people. I can't imagine the panic that you must be feeling because you know your boss is watching this. You know your clients are watching this, and you're like,
Not good.
Where is the nearest exit?
I would leave forever. I would change my name. You know what? I'd change my fleece color, and then no one would recognize me again.
Just get your box, pack your fleece and your little,
I go from white fleece to red. I don't even know. I can't even picture what color are these fleeces, but maybe that'll do it.
They're like navy and black, but you really went far with the white and red. Okay.
No, maybe no one will recognize them now. Bob would never wear white.
You would stand out. But all right.
All right.
So, okay. That being said, so essentially what you're saying is there's this war between the Wall Street bros and their vests and the Reddit users who maybe look a bit like Mark Zuckerberg, but with much cheaper t-shirts. And so some people started calling this like the new Occupy Wall Street after everything happened, which really kind of brought back some memories for me because I was living in New York when Occupy Wall Street happened. This is when I was teaching. So I was riding the subway every day to get to work. And I definitely remember getting on the subway and people just being in like all black with like war paint on their faces and posters like Occupy Wall Street. I'm like, y'all, it's 6:30 in the morning. Like, where are we going like this? Like,
I just
are you coming back from the club or from the club?
You would think club. You would. That would be. You're a teacher. You're supposed to be respectable.
But in New York, it's not uncommon to see people like ending their night at 5, 6 in the morning. So I was like, shit, y'all had a strong night.
I can't keep all these people in black. Would you think it was a goth party or what?
Have you ever heard that black is like, what's better than black? Black just makes you feel fresh and fun.
Fresh? Did they look fresh?
No, not at all.
All right. Okay. So we get it. This was like a symbolic thing more. I feel like not more than anything, because certainly people walked out with plenty of money, and I would love that symbolism for us. But they just wanted to stick it to them, right? Prove that they could. Like, I mean, I don't know, but it kind of seemed like with some of this rhetoric, it was crazy.
Yeah. And so, I mean, okay, I guess what's really important, or where this all kind of comes to a head, is that we've got the Wall Street bros, we've got the Reddit users, and in between them all are the e-traders or the online traders who, you know, their businesses are helping people trade stocks. And so one of them in particular, Robinhood, which I'm sure many people have heard of, restricted people from buying but not from selling. So because people couldn't buy, the price started to drop, and then these Reddit users got pissed off like all over again.
Right.
But for a little bit of like background and context on Robinhood, so they were founded in 2013 by 2 Stanford graduates.
Fancy.
Yeah, super fancy, in Silicon Valley. No shocker there. So they probably have Teslas.
Extra fancy.
They definitely have Teslas.
Yeah.
But so they started this because they were trying to democratize finance, in quotes, which means that they wanted to make trading available to anybody in a user-friendly way. And so they were the first people to, I think, really do this all based on a phone app instead of like an online or through a broker.
Right.
And they weren't charging any commissions on trades, which was super uncommon because most brokers do charge you to trade stocks.
Right.
And so generally, Robinhood was supposed to make it easy for people to invest because there were no fees. And so they were going to like disrupt the whole industry. So, you know, because they're a disruptor, you've got all of these young investors in our generation, really, who started to use Robinhood and were like downloading it like crazy. I mean, I have the Robinhood app and I do a little bit of trading there because it's just super easy.
How much trading versus your husband? What are we talking about?
Doesn't really matter. I think we're one. We got married. We are one.
Right.
We are a unit. We're a team.
Just asking.
So the team
asking for
trades.
Just asking for a friend.
Tell your friend to worry about her own fucking business.
Okay. Wow. Her. Okay. You don't even know. Might be a him. But anyway, okay. So I see your point, but I think the flip side too, right, is that this could have created more risk for customers. Like their whole thing, Robinhood's whole thing, ironically enough, was the gamification of investing, or that's what they're being accused of. I mean, so there's this argument that you have, in quotes, unsophisticated investors now using this app, and they're not really understanding the type of risk they're taking on, right? Because it just seems fun. It's kind of like a video game, right? It's black and green. It looks cool, kind of edgy. And then they got me because whenever you complete a trade, all these balloons and confetti drop down, and it's like, yay. And I'm like, ooh.
That does make things exciting.
I want more balloons. Right. Buy, more balloons. You know, it's like instant gratification. It's very exciting.
That's probably why your wife woke you up at 5:30 in the morning. She's trying to get back at you for your stupid ass fucking trades.
You know what? Just one day, it'll pay off. One day.
One day, we're not there yet.
Not today, but one day.
I'll ask her. Well, okay, so because of this, they've run into issues already. Like they've only, like I said, they were founded in 2013, so they're still fairly new, but they've already basically had some issues with different government like bodies.
Just a couple.
Basically saying that they're not representing their customers the way they should.
Right.
And you know, they kind of think that there's like some shady shit that's going on at Robinhood.
Yeah, they've definitely had a couple run-ins, and I know it's important to note that one of them had to do with the way that they make money, actually, because like you said, they don't charge commission on trades, which is how a lot of traditional brokers make their money. Instead, they make their money on the back end. So they're selling customer orders to be fulfilled, which is totally legal, right? Because Robinhood doesn't do that themselves. They sell it to somebody else. Okay, fine. The problem, though, is that they were selling it essentially kind of like to the highest bidder, whoever would give Robinhood more money. And this was to the detriment of their customers. So the customers were making less, actually. So you think you're better off by going to Robinhood because they're not charging you, but they are just on the back end. And they didn't tell their customers, got in trouble, had to pay a fine. They've since changed their ways. Like I said, it's not illegal, but what was illegal was selling to the highest bidder. So
they changed their ways allegedly, but now they're back in the middle of a fucking shit show.
Well, they changed that way. Okay. I don't know if they changed the other ways.
So they've stopped stealing money from customers, maybe, allegedly.
Right.
But so now they're in the middle of this entire, firestorm between the Wall Street bros and the Reddit users. And so they kind of got the brunt of it for a couple reasons. I mean, one, their name is Robinhood. Like, they're supposed to be helping, like, the little guys and the average, everyday investor who wants to get into this and, like, create some financial independence for themselves. But they also oddly seem to be, like, the e-trader that was most aggressively shutting people down from buying the GameStop shares. So, like, it was just really unclear, like, why they were taking that stance so much harder than other e-traders.
Right.
I mean, enough to the point where a couple U.S. reps, including our girl AOC.
Shout out.
Yeah, love AOC. She's fabulous. And even Ted Cruz, like, they both spoke publicly to criticize Robinhood.
It's so weird. Like, you gotta, like, what the fuck is going on when AOC and Teddy Cruz are in agreement about something?
They're never on the same page.
We're in the Twilight Zone, I swear to God. The last year and a half has been so weird.
When I think of AOC and Ted Cruz, I think of J-Lo and Mariah. Because, Mariah's always like, who's Jennifer Lopez? I've never heard that name before.
I love Mariah. Honestly, that's so brilliant.
She's so fucking petty.
I know.
The way that she, like, just, like, will burn people by being like, I've never, who?
Yeah. The level
and you're
of
like, oh, we
pettiness.
had a picture last week together. And she's like, that was, no.
Without flinching, too. You're like, am I crazy?
Right.
Does J-Lo exist?
So the J-Lo and Mariah Carey of Congress are on the same team now.
Okay.
For Robinhood, at least.
You're really painting some visuals this episode. Now I'm just...
You're welcome.
Ted Cruz as... I don't know which... I don't know. I'm not going to... It's too far.
Let's not throw
too
stones.
far. Yeah, that's inappropriate. I'm so sorry. So Robinhood releases a statement, right? It's so funny. I can imagine what they were thinking while this is all going down. Release a statement. We're so sorry, guys. This is not our intent. We'd support you guys, right? Of course, they have to come back crawling. And they try to explain that the reason they had to freeze the trades was because of some really technical requirements. But it really has to do with just brokerage accounts. They have to keep a minimum amount of cash in the bank, essentially, to cover the transactions that are taking place on their system, right? And so when all this was happening, the stock was just up, down, right? And like you said, 1,800%. That's a huge up that Robinhood said that they were not expecting. I don't know if anybody knew this was going to happen. So their cash reserves were just not enough to cover everything that was happening. So they had to freeze it in order to comply with law, and we're scrambling to come up with enough cash to cover all this stuff. And for what it's worth, the other brokers had to do the same thing. But I think because, what we've been saying, Robinhood is newer to the game, they probably just didn't have that much money in reserve because they're kind of new, right?
I mean, I think part of it, too, is because not even only is Robinhood the newest, but because of their customer base being so young and people who, who are good at, like, making a moment and bringing attention to things, I would imagine that, like, the social media storm around this was so huge, and I'm sure people were just tweeting and posting Robinhood stuff like crazy. And so, I mean, Congress, like, people in Congress, especially, like, at AOC, who's really, again, in our generation, it probably, like, brought more attention to them, whereas, like, the other ones who, like, really only sophisticated, wealthy people are probably investing through, like, weren't getting any of this attention.
Right. Like, the billionaires aren't using Robinhood.
They're definitely not tweeting about Robinhood.
Yeah, like, Robinhood, these are the people who are causing the chaos are the exact people who Robinhood is trying to court.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So, I mean, Robinhood got caught in the middle of all of this, and so now there are these legal issues that have been brought, or, charges that have been brought against them. And so the first one is that they're being accused of market manipulation. And so people are basically alleging that they limited the selling or the buying. Sorry, they limited the buying of stocks to help the big players on Wall Street because they were basically trying to keep Wall Street from losing more money. So people are now, calling this a conspiracy theory. But then, of course, Robinhood is saying that they didn't actually get any pressure from Wall Street or the hedge funds to stop the buying.
Yeah, even if they did it, imagine they're just like, you caught us, that's it, and they close up shop. You never
You're
hear from them
right.
again.
Yeah.
Right, so people aren't really buying it. There is some suspect things, I have to say. Looking into this, there's some potential conflict of interest here. So as we said before, right, the way that Robinhood makes money is on the back end, right? The people that they sell customer orders to. And actually, it came out that one of those people, Melvin Capital, that hedge fund that I told you about that lost $3 billion, they lost the most out of everybody, worth noting. Because, well, this is alleged, don't get me on this, right? But this is out there, that Melvin Capital actually provides about 40% of Robinhood's revenue.
So just a little shady.
They lose the most from everything going down. Robinhood freezes it so they can't lose any more money. And then it's revealed that they probably fund almost half of their entire revenue.
I mean, I think we just solved the mystery.
I mean,
Do we get to be president and VP now?
sure, why not? I think we look great in the White House.
I mean, we can get at least minor roles next to Joe and Kamala.
I'll take a supporting role.
We solved all of this.
I could be an aide.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's that.
So we've got market manipulation on one hand. On the other hand, there was a class action that was filed against the customers of Robinhood. And so a class action is essentially when a group of people come together to bring one lawsuit versus another party. And so it makes it easier because if you all have the same claims or the same issues, and you can have one lawyer, a team of attorneys from the same place represent all of you at once. And so they can hash out everybody's claims at one time, which is often how these huge settlement cases happen because they've got this group of people and they just have a pool of funds that they pay out and they divide it amongst those people after they paid the attorneys, et cetera, et cetera. So this class action was brought by a group of customers claiming that Robinhood rigged the market against them, essentially by depriving them of the potential to make money. And they're saying that because in theory, if they would have been able to buy the stock and the value kept going up, they would have been able to make money in the long term. So what they're saying is, Robinhood, you stopped me from fucking buying, so you deprive me of, potential money gains.
I don't know if I buy it. They could have gone elsewhere. They could have bought elsewhere, but
I mean, yeah, but if you're a Robinhood customer and that's where you do your investing, why should you be expected to then scramble to start another investment account elsewhere?
it's true. But I don't know if it makes it illegal. We'll have to see.
Fair. I mean, so the actual claims that they brought in this class action are breach of contract, which essentially means Robinhood violated the terms of the agreement between, or whatever their agreements are between their customers and Robinhood. There's a really complicated one. Bear with me for 1 second.
I'm going to sleep.
It's called breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing.
Wow.
We will not even focus on that.
You
It's
did
not
that.
worth it.
You said it.
Thanks.
Good job.
I practiced in the shower this morning. And then the last one is the breach of fiduciary duty. And I think that one is the most interesting to me. So fiduciary duty means that you have an obligation to act in the best interest of another party. And so typically this comes up in financial relationships, but it's also quite common for, board members of companies to have, fiduciary duty obligations. Lawyers have those obligations or duties to their clients. But so they're essentially saying that, because Robinhood is supposed to be protecting and acting in the best interest of their customers, they breach their duty of, they breach their fiduciary duty by instead acting for the benefit, possibly or allegedly, of the Wall Street investors and the hedge funds.
Right. Think that Melvin Capital, right?
Right.
Mr. 40%
Right.
revenue. It's really interesting. I have to say, though, the contract breach, I don't buy it because as an avid Robinhood user, when you sign up, there's a clause that basically says that Robinhood may, in its discretion, prohibit or restrict the trading of securities, right? So there's no way that's going to fly. But to your point, the breach of fiduciary duty and that other term that we won't say because it's way too long, I think those are the things that are going to be the clinchers here because you have this whole conspiracy theory and possible conflict of interest with the hedge funds, right? So it's going to get messy.
It'll definitely be interesting.
And I feel like we're going to be able to find out relatively soon, February 18th. That's the day. I'm sure Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev cannot wait for it because he has to go testify before...
Poor Vlad. Sorry, Vlad.
Poor Vlad. Hashtag poor Vlad.
Free Vlad.
Free Vlad. Hashtag Brittany and Vlad.
Listen.
Maybe they can do some mascara videos together. So he has to go testify and talk about it. And he's going up against quite a few people, right? He's going up, the government watchdogs are going to be there. The bank, that clearinghouse that I mentioned, like everybody's going to show up. So we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to find out what was really going on.
All right. So we've got a little bit, but in the interim, so I guess where do things stand now? Like while we wait for this hearing to pan out?
So Robinhood is now allowing limited buys of the stock, and they've now gotten this huge influx of cash. So they're saying, we won't run into this problem anymore. We'll see, right? It's now coming out that actually like part of the volatility in GameStop stock was caused by other hedge funds. It's so interesting to me because we're like, oh, these evil hedge funds who are short sellers, but there were some hedge funds that weren't betting against GameStop stock. They weren't involved at all, but they saw the opportunity and they're like, whoa, this stock is shooting up. Let's buy. And so they bought, and one walked away with $700 million.
That's the American dream. Take advantage of people when they're down.
Right? So they
I think
bought,
that's in the
sold.
Constitution.
Can you imagine? This is like over 2 days. I think it is too, by the way.
I'm just saying.
I'm just mad that why didn't we make $700 million?
Because we were doing our real jobs.
We need to stop.
Well, I mean, so in the real world of it all, I mean, not that's not the real world, but just in terms of...
$700 million is not real for us, Nicole. You're right.
Okay, so awkwardly, on the other side of it all, Robinhood had this ad that they put together for the Super Bowl that basically says anybody can be an investor in like this very romanticized way where there's like families and young people and
like dancing.
Everybody's so happy because they can be an investor, and people were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like,
when do you go to the club and you're like, you know what I need to do? I need to invest.
You're just standing at the bar and you're like, "Where's Robinhood?"
Yeah.
But like the internet literally tore them to shreds.
Yeah.
They were like, "Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, why don't you read the room? You literally just stopped me from being an investor because you shut down my fucking buying and selling."
Yeah.
So real cool, friends.
Lies you tell.
Lies.
And they're the GameStop stock, for what it's worth. This is the true victim here for me. Poor GameStop. Their stock is all over the place. I mean, up, down, but it's starting to go down. I mean, we knew that it was going to make, wasn't going to last long. But a lot of investors ended up losing money. It's actually really sad, right?
Yeah.
Like there's more people who got caught up in this that it's really sad.
I definitely know people who invested and lost money.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
That's
have like
painful.
multiple people who I know who reached out to me afterwards, and they like definitely tried to ride that wave, and it did not work
Didn't
out.
work.
Did not work
Wrong
out.
timing. Aww.
But maybe here's some news to be optimistic about. Reddit users have now turned their attention to other places.
Back at it again.
Like AMC theaters, Nokia, and BlackBerry.
They're just choosing some winners, huh?
Some real strong fucking companies. Who even still has a BlackBerry?
What are their strategies? I don't know.
Anything from the 90s.
Look, you know what we're going to do? You're going to buy a Nokia. I'm going to get a BlackBerry. We're going to go to AMC. We're going to watch a movie. I think like do early 2000s.
If I'm reading the writing on the walls right now correctly, they might be trying to reopen Blockbuster next.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like they're turning their attention to like all the 90s
You
things.
and I should start a Reddit forum. Blockbuster. That's the new thing.
Hashtag reopen Blockbuster.
Yeah, we're just going to flood a bunch of cash into Blockbuster.
I'm down. Fuck
I think that's the way to go.
And so, same time as the Reddit users now picking some new places to turn their attentions towards, Netflix has, decided that this moment is their moment to capitalize upon. And so they're truly already casting a movie for this entire GameStop debacle.
Right.
Here's my question. Okay, so I feel like the budget could probably be like, what, $300 for this film? Because we're just going to film people sitting in their rooms, like, typing and texting?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Because literally all of this happened on computers.
Yeah, and you could just get one shot of like an empty GameStop store that's like closed down and then pan to like two guys on a computer.
We could make that.
Just clicking.
Should we call Quentin Tarantino and see if he'll do it with us?
We should create it. We'll upload it to YouTube.
I'll be the Wall Street bro. You be the Reddit user.
All right, that fits.
Okay, done. Boom.
I'm bringing my PlayStation.
You're welcome, Netflix.
We got you. Okay, so what have we discussed today? There's been quite a few things.
Yeah, so long story short, you've got GameStop. GameStop used to be a great store. People bought their games, blah, blah, blah. Not doing well. So you've got these Wall Street bros in their fleece vests trying to make money. So like, fuck it, we're going to sell our shares. We're going to make all this money in the process. But then you've got this Reddit group of Mark Zuckerberg lookalikes, possibly. who decide like, no, fuck you, Wall Street. We're going to take back control. We're going to buy all these shares and you're going to lose all this fucking money. And then you've got Robinhood in between all of these fucking people.
What's going on, guys?
And Robinhood is like, what? Yo, I'm broke. We don't have enough money in the bank for this shit.
I
Like,
just
turn
woke
this
up.
off.
What is going on?
Truly. So they turn off the fucking trading, and now they're in the middle of this fucking shitstorm.
Right.
So
That was good.
that was
in it.
hard.
I'm very impressed with you.
We
I
did a
can't
good
believe
job.
you haven't keeled over from talking about video games and finance for this long.
Anytime we can associate a visual with it and I can make fun of somebody, I'm
You
okay.
feeling all right?
I feel good.
All right. Cool. So, favorite part, sentencing and prison personalities.
Yes.
What do you got for us
Let's
today,
do it.
Nicole?
So I am sending the Reddit users to prison in nature for 2 whole years.
Wait, how do you go to prison in nature? It seems like the opposite. Shouldn't it
It's,
be
it's
enclosed
basically
or
just like
it's an
sleepaway
outdoor?
camp. It's like sleepaway camp
Okay.
behind bars.
Okay.
And so I say in nature because I'm taking away their ability to use video games.
Oh, you're taking away, you're cutting everything
I'm
off.
cutting their cords. They got to be in nature
That's really hurtful. Why would you do that?
because they need to take some time to like reflect and become one with themselves.
No, that's terrible. I can't believe you did that to them.
Okay. Well, on the other hand, I've got the Wall Street bros. I'm deciding to send them
excited
to.
for this.
Well, I'm not deciding. Realistically, they have enough money that they will get themselves put in a really fancy prison in Connecticut. But I'm giving them terrible caviar and vests that are too small.
I don't know how I feel about the fancy prison. I don't want it to be fancy, but the
caviar is
the
gonna be
poor
bad.
caviar kind of got
And
me.
the vests won't fit.
You're right. Oh my god, tiny vests.
Tiny vests.
That is hilarious. So they can't even move their arms. They're just like
like-
shimmying.
Joe Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey.
My hero.
Just busting out of his shirt all
Yeah.
the time.
I love it. And can we change the loafers? No, like what's a knockoff? What would be a terrible thing for them to wear?
Crocs.
Oh my god, brilliant. So tiny little fleece vests and yellow Crocs. Bright. I want bright Crocs.
And jean shorts. A jort. They don't get to
Ew.
have their khakis anymore.
I do not want to visit this prison ever. That image, because they're probably really pale too.
Disgusting.
They never see the light, right?
You're
They're
welcome.
okay. Yuck. Okay, next.
And then last we've got Robinhood. So the kindness in me has decided to send,
What kindness?
wow, okay, the 2 co-founders. I am going to ask that the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, in all of his greatness, I'm going to ask him to reopen Alcatraz, which is off the coast of San Francisco, so that they can be close to Silicon Valley where all their friends are.
It's really sweet of you.
They can come visit.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll really appreciate that proximity.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
That was good.
Okay, so what moral of the story?
Moral of the story: don't buy stock based on what the latest Instagram influencer says, and probably not a bunch of guys on Reddit
Yep.
and girls.
Yep.
There's probably some girls in there. Unless you enjoy losing money and/or a flat tummy tea.
Oh, that's tough. Flat tummy tea is like all the rage for the Instagram influencers.
I feel like maybe let's not at like Kim K's diet of the week.
Well,
Let's
let's
not go-
bracket.
Let's not go in that direction.
Let's bracket the flat tummy tea. If it's
Okay.
a good one, like maybe we listen to the Instagram influencers, but I'm going to say definitely not on
No.
the stocks that you're going to
I'm
purchase.
gonna say absolutely no on both.
Financial advice, hard no.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
We
so-
did it. We talked about finance.
We
and
survived.
games.
We survived.
We did it.
I'm so proud of you.
Okay.
But I'm more proud of me. So thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Legally Judgy. We hope you enjoyed listening to us talk as much as we love the sound of our own voices.
If you did, please subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Also, please feel free to connect with us on our socials at Legally Judgy. Until next time.
Bye.